Happy Monday, listeners, and we're back here with some more reaction videos. Today we have controversial Mario opinions. If you guys don't know, last week I actually did some popular Mario Kart opinions. If you haven't checked it already, you should. Leave a link in the description below or up here in the corner right here. Without any further ado, go ahead and get right into the video.
For as much as people rave about Super Mario 64, I've never found it to be that good of a game. The controls are very janky and the camera is plain awful. I can hardly see sometimes. On top of that, the Bowser fights are tedious and boring, and worst of all, Mario looks like he could stab a man with his earlobe. While the level design isn't the worst thing I've ever seen, and I understand that this game was very influential, it's aged like blue cheese. The new Super Mario Bros. Series is nowhere near as bad as some people say it is. While they weren't difficult to develop and were obviously made to cash in on nostalgic Mario fans, there are some genuine
The Mario Bros. Series is trash? Never heard that opinion before.
great 2D platformers that came out of this series. They established so many new mechanics and features to 2D Mario. Even the extremely derivative games like New Super Mario Bros. U are a guilty pleasure for me. Hey guys, it's Tricky Nick here, and today we're going over 30 of my most controversial takes on the Mario franchise. From my less than stellar opinion of Mario Kart Wii to my obsessive nature towards Luigi's Mansion, we're gonna cover it all. Let's keep it rolling. On the topic of Super Mario 64, I think the remake for the Nintendo DS was a horrible launch title. A launch title is supposed to show off all the strengths of a console, and Super Mario 64 DS did that poorly. Using the touchscreen to control the camera whilst also using a 4-direction D-pad to try to move around in 3D is so frustrating. In fact, it's so bad that I never even bothered to try to finish this.
I never used
Mario
touchscreen, to be
Odyssey
honest.
is better than Breath of the Wild. Enough said. As much as people
I never actually used the touchscreen and DS, to be honest. I just always moved the little D-pad, so I didn't have much of a problem with that.
love the first Luigi's Mansion, I think it pales in comparison to Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion isn't a bad game at all. In fact, I think it's pretty good, but it's way too short of an experience. Luigi's Mansion 3, on the other hand, takes us through so many different levels and themes and has some incredible mechanics and boss fights. The game also looks like a cinematic masterpiece and gave me a fun 12-hour gaming experience I won't soon forget. Also, did I mention I'm a Luigi's Mansion fan? Luigi's Mansion being ported to the 3DS was a bad idea. It came out well into the Nintendo Switch's life, and it would have been way better received on that console, especially if they remade it in
it's
the
already
Luigi's
here.
Mansion 3
At least it's
engine.
going to be here.
Mario Kart arcade titles don't really need to be ported to a home console. These games aren't bad, but if you take away the novelty of playing them at the arcade, they lose a lot of their charm. Unless you have voice chat with some friends, playing Mario Party online isn't nearly as fun as in person. In
Agreed.
fact, even with voice chat, it doesn't emulate the same fun times you have in person with friends. On a similar note, the advent of online play and gaming has made Mario Party almost fully obsolete. It's sad for me to say, but in recent years I haven't had many gatherings where we actually play Mario Party. People typically gravitate more towards Mario Kart or Super Smash Bros. Maybe that's just more of a lack of interest for Mario Party in my friend circle though. Mario and Sonic games were never that good, and I don't think they really ever will be. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker deserves to be way more appreciated. It's an incredible puzzle and platforming title, unlike anything I've ever played before. It even makes some references to the long-forgotten Super Mario Bros. 2, which is really neat. It's an incredible game and deserves way more attention than it gets. As much as I like Mario Hoops and Super...
In fact, I've never played Captain Toad's game, so can't have much of an opinion on that, I guess.
Star Baseball, these games should not get sequels on Nintendo Switch. Nintendo would probably just butcher these games with a lack of content. While it's far from the worst Mario Kart game, I never really enjoyed Mario Kart Wii. I understand and appreciate its influence on the series, but how so many people still play it today baffles me. Their graphics stink, the controls are too sensitive, the battle mode is pretty much non-existent, and the items make for lackluster gameplay. They're so unbalanced and a lot of them are so useless. I will say though, the roster and courses are good, they just ended up in a very flawed game. So yeah, I never found a ton of enjoyment playing Mario Kart Wii.
And I barely played it.
Super Mario Land 2 is one of the best 2D platformers ever made, and it doesn't get enough attention. Everything about this game is so unique and innovative, and it's got a lot of heart put into it. It's also one of the only Mario platformers where Bowser isn't the final boss. What a knockout of a game this is. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is some of the worst level design Nintendo has ever put out. It's tedious, unfair, and poorly designed. design. Just slapping big gaps and enemies all over a level.
And that's why it never
doesn't
came
make
to the
good.
US market.
This was a real blunder by Nintendo. Nintendo level design outdoes 99% of Mario Maker levels that I've played. There have definitely been some exceptions, but for the most part, Nintendo is the best when it comes to 2D level design. Which brings me to my next opinion: Nintendo needs to make a new 2D Mario. I don't even care if it's another new Super Mario Bros. Game. I need my fix. Mario Strikers
Got one
Battle League
upcoming
is a
in 2
heartless
weeks.
cash grab with less content than this rattle, and I hate it. Well, it's got 4 colors, you know. I really like the Final Fantasy inclusions in Mario Sports Mix and Mario Hoops. I know it's really out of left field, but that just makes it all the more memorable. It's like the funky
Didn't he
Kong
say they
and
were
Mario
bad?
Kart Wii of the Mario Sports series. I'm a sucker for desert levels in Mario games. For example, Dry Desert is one of my favorite courses in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't understand why people hate on desert levels so much. The arid and barren landscape is simple, but it makes you want to escape it more, which adds to the intensity of the gameplay. I love it. The Mega Mushroom is a good power-up. While people just call it a poorly executed gimmick, the Mega Mushroom is a really fun power-up to
I think
use.
it's good.
And not only
Good weapon.
that,
Who said it's
actually
bad?
helpful in progressing through levels and fighting off enemies. Ghost houses in New Super Mario Bros. Games specifically are really bad. They break up the flow of the game by basically being labyrinths that require trial and error. They don't belong in a 2D platformer. I love the Koopalings in the Mario Kart 8 roster. They all have unique designs and personalities. Each one deserves a roster spot. In fact, Morton Koopa is probably one of my most used characters in Mario Kart 8. Pauline and Mario are a better couple than Princess Peach and Mario. Princess Peach simply uses Mario to help her out of a bind with Bowser every other week. Meanwhile, Pauline actually seems to have things to offer in their relationship, especially considering she's mayor of New Donk City. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a bad deal. Nintendo basically charged us $60 for 3 emulated games, and they didn't even emulate them to their fullest potential. Mario 64 is still in 4:3 aspect ratio. You can't tell me I didn't get screwed by buying this. I could do this for free. As much as people want Waluigi to have his own games, he'd probably need more of a personality for that to work. I mean, what could they really do with Waluigi right now that isn't derivative of a Mario or Wario game? On that same note, Waluigi doesn't really have enough history and depth as a character to be in Super Smash Bros. Mario, Luigi, and Wario all have their own unique games to help develop a moveset, and Waluigi has pretty much nothing to base it off of. But even though his personality's paper thin, I still like this guy. Look at that mustache. Super Princess Peach was a bit of a controversial game, but despite that, I think Princess Peach still deserves to get more games where she stars. I prefer preset carts way more than the current cart customization system in Mario Kart. Cart customization is a good concept, but since each piece heavily influences the stats of a cart, everyone ends up just choosing the same thing. However, when
Yeah,
preset
I'd
carts are
agree with
used,
that
like
opinion.
in Mario Kart DS for example, it has the potential to allow Nintendo to better balance each cart, while also making it look better than a worm with tic-tac wheels on it. I don't really care very much about the plot of a Mario game. I'm just there for the incredible gameplay that I know and love. When the story of a Mario game is especially unique and special, I recognize that and enjoy it, but I wouldn't be sad if it wasn't there.
And that was that video. So those are some very popular, unpopular opinions. That's like half of those games I have never played before in my life. I've seen it, but I've never played it before. So I guess I can't really have an opinion, I guess, on that. But I'd say most of the opinions for like over half of them were really unpopular. I would say for the Mario 64. I think that was Nintendo's first attempt at making a 3D Mario game. So they didn't really know what they were doing, I guess you could say. So it makes sense why there were you know, imperfections and everything. I don't really think it's fair to go too hard in terms for that game, because again, anyways, let's go to today's video. Let me know if you have any unpopular Mario opinions in the comments below. I'd love to read them. But yeah, guys, take care, and if I can do it too. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.